Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue. I am Eric. Today I am ranking my favorite roller coasters in Florida. This is my home state, and I know it pretty well, and some of these rides I've been on many times, which may or may not influence where it ranks. Before I begin, I have not been on Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, or to any of the Fun Spot America parks, so those will not be on here. Also, thank you to AmusementInsider for allowing me to use a lot of his footage. He has some really great roller coaster footage of Florida. I definitely encourage you to check him out. Let's begin with number 10, Cobras Curse. This is a really fun family ride with pretty solid theming, excellent views of the Serengeti area around Busch Gardens, and it's a spinning coaster. For a little while, it was definitely the best spinning coaster out there. A time traveler has probably taken that crown. I haven't been on it personally, but more thrilling and all. But the spinning is pretty fun here. It's a really engaging roller coaster with a cool queue and a lot of good theming. It's just a very fun ride. There's not as much to say about it as some of the other rides. This is probably the most kid-friendly and family-oriented of the bunch. But I enjoy it more than some pretty big, thrilling roller coasters in Florida because it's very smooth and just a really fun ride. It's definitely the first one I go to at Busch Gardens, but that's because the line tends to fill up pretty quickly. Number 9, Revenge of the Mummy at Universal Studios. I don't love the Universal Coaster Collection. I think Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket's kind of rough, and Gringotts isn't a whole lot of a roller coaster. But this one is a nice balance of good theming and good thrills. There are the launch elements that are really fun and awesome. Initially I had a bit of a rough ride, but on my most recent visit I really enjoyed it. And the theming, of course, is top-notch, like with many Universal rides. I very much enjoy riding this. The operations are incredibly fast, and I really wish I could get on Hagrid to see how it compares to this. I think people tend to like it better, but this is just a really, really fun ride. Highly recommended. Number 8, Crackin at SeaWorld Orlando. Now, I have not gone on this one in about 2 years, and the first time I went was that time. So I hear it used to be a really awesome, smooth B&M floorless with great elements and all that. However, it was kind of bumpy when I rode it, so it's not quite as high as it could have been. That said, it has the best layout of any floorless coaster I've been on, hands down. Really fun ride. Some of the theming was kind of stripped for weird cement platforms, but it's a really well done ride with good theming, and it's overall just very, very enjoyable. It has its bumpy parts, of course, but the vertical loop is really great, plenty of good inversions, highly recommended. One of the best rides at SeaWorld Orlando, which has plenty of good ones. Number 7, Cheetah Hunt at Busch Gardens. The 4 top Busch Gardens coasters are all fantastic. I have not been on Tigris, so I can't rank that, but this is my least favorite of the big 4 at Busch Gardens. The main reason being it's more family-oriented, and as a result, I don't think it's as thrilling, but it has a great layout. The really good launches that are quite powerful and smooth, the interesting hill and drop, the inversion is really good, the intense parts are pretty intense, and the airtime moments are pretty good. It's a very long roller coaster, a little bit meandering at times, because it's more family-oriented. If it had a few more big elements that were really intense or really thrilling, this would probably be higher than some of the other Busch Gardens coasters. But as it stands, it's a very good ride. Definitely one of the best in Florida, and a really fun Intamin Blitz coaster. Highly recommended, and definitely worth the wait that you might get if you go to the park. Number 6, another Busch Gardens coaster, Kumba. Kumba is widely considered the best of all Florida coasters and all B&M looping coasters and all of the Busch Gardens coasters, but I have had bad rides. Given that Busch Gardens Tampa is the park I have definitely been to the most out of any, I have had many rides on Kumba. Some of them have been pretty bumpy and not in a good, intense way. That said, the best rides on Kumba are fantastic. The inversions and layout are really great on this ride. It's a really, really intense coaster. And I definitely like the best rides on it, but sometimes it can be bumpy. I honestly recommend, if you really like the intensity and don't mind some headbanging, back row, but I like front better on this ride. Not a very common occurrence for B&M coasters, but it stands for this one. Number 5, Shikra. I've talked about this in my underrated roller coasters list before, so I'll keep this one a little brief. I think B&M dive coasters are a great model. They have excellent intensity at times and some good airtime moments. That's how I feel on them, at least. I love the first drop on this one and many others. Of course, there is the one minor pacing issue, and this is a much shorter ride with less elements than the B&Ms and Intamin rides throughout the rest of the park, but I really love Shikra. Maybe because it's just more fun than the others, or because it's perfectly smooth the whole way through. But it's a compact layout with some really fun portions, and it's definitely a very enjoyable ride, and it was my favorite for a while at Busch Gardens. Number 4, The Incredible Hulk at Universal. I never expected a movie and cinema-based park to have such a good roller coaster at it. But this ride is fantastic. The launch out of the hill is really forceful. The inversions are excellent. The theming is great. The views you get along the ride are really awesome. The pacing is really strong. This is a really great roller coaster, and of the ones I've been on, I consider this world class. It's actually a really great ride, and I definitely recommend, if you can only get on one roller coaster at Universal, either park, do this one. I should also note that this is my favorite of all Universal rides because I value thrills over theming. Definitely. I like theming on roller coasters, but if a ride's more intense and airtime packed and doesn't have a ton of theming to it, such as Steel Vengeance or Fury 325, I definitely will like it more. Number 3, Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. SeaWorld has some really great B&M coasters. I think it has its flaws as a park, but the roller coaster collection is really great, especially its top 3. And Manta is definitely a prime example of that. I absolutely recommend you ride Back Row, because this can be an intense coaster if you ride it right. I like flying coasters in general. They're smooth, they're enjoyable, they have great inversions. This one is all of those things. I prefer Tattoo at Magic Mountain, but I really like this one. It is smooth, like I mentioned, and the water splash thing is really fun. It's just an enjoyable coaster, and it's definitely one of the best in Florida. Highly recommended, great ride. Number 2, Montu at Busch Gardens Tampa. This, for a little while, was my favorite B&M invert. I went on Banshee and liked that better, but this ride rocks. It is super intense and fun. I love the first loop. The Batwing element is definitely the highlight. The brake run is actually kind of helpful for the pacing. Rare for most roller coasters, honestly. It's a really fast, look at this POV. Look how quickly that is moving. I really like the theming they add in with the Egyptian tunnel sort of things. It's simple but effective. The ride is really, really great. Best at Busch Gardens and one of the best in Florida. But not quite as good as number 1, Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. I love B&M Hypers more than most other B&M coasters, and Mako is one of the best. It starts out with your good airtime and your good turns and all of that sort of thing. The intensity is solid, not the best for a B&M inverter, hyper, or looper, or anything like that. I like some others better, but it's still a really great ride. And nothing is quite as good as Mako's second half. The compact layout allows for a lot more intensity on the turns. It's a really smooth ride. I like the location. The scale is really cool. The L layout is excellent. Diamondback is the only B&M hyper that I prefer. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below your favorite roller coasters in Florida or any other ranking you'd like to see me do. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.